Being that today is the, you want to call it National Christian Holiday of Christmas, I think it's important we say something about it. Firstly, when it comes to us Jews, Christmas was never a very Jewish popular holiday. And the reason for that being, for anyone who's done a little bit of research, a little bit of reading, a little bit of knowledge on Christmas, Christmas was a day where, I hate to group it up this way, but pagans, blacks, Jews, and homosexuals were all taken out to be killed, tormented, and raped, all horrible different things. So, on that note, if you hear of, or if you know of any Jews who celebrate Christmas, lo aleinu velo alechem, don't tell them not to do it, because if you tell someone not to do something, they'll keep on doing it. Tell them, I respect your decision, however, I think it would be wise for you to look into what you are celebrating. And tell them that it was never such a famous and jolly time for Jews. Tell them to look into it. On that note, I want to share a true story. This is the story I tried starting this morning. We'll twist it. About an 18-year-old woman named Mary who immigrated to America during the post-Great Depression era. And she was very fortunate to find herself as a housekeeper in a Jewish family's home. And comes the first year of her working, and the man of the house, who happened to be an Orthodox Jew, who happened to be actually the president of the Orthodox synagogue, the local synagogue, a well-to-do, well-off man, they took, like many do, a winter vacation, and their plan was to come back on the 24th of December from their winter vacation. Mary, the housekeeper, who was so thankful and grateful that she had a job here in America during such a hard time, she says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the spending money they left me, and I'm going to decorate their house. She looks at all the other neighbors, she doesn't know, Jewish, not Jewish, she sees everyone has a lot of lights. She goes, she purchases a large tree, puts it right in the middle of the house, decorates the inside of the house, the outside of the house, with the ornaments and all the lights, and obviously the green and the red and everything. Thinking, when my boss comes home, he's going to be so happy. I didn't want their house to not be decorated. All the other houses are. Lo and behold, December 24th comes, and the man of the house, driving home with his family, they pull into what he thought was his driveway, and he could not believe his eyes. His house lit up like something he's never seen before. So he says, it must not be my house. He continues driving. He didn't want to imagine it's his house. He continues driving around the block, since many of the houses were very similar in the way that they looked. He continues, he makes a turn around the block, hoping that that's not his house, hoping he finds his house. And he comes back and he realizes that that's his house, and he did not know what to do. So embarrassing. The president of the Orthodox synagogue, his house is lit up. He comes in and he sees Mary's face with a big smile. And he walks in, and to his dismay, he sees this tree in the middle of his house. He walks in and she says, "Nu, are you happy?" He says, "I'm thrilled. Thank you so very much." And he went on to praise her and thank her for what she did. It's not easy. An 18-year-old girl putting together such a beautiful decor for such a large house. He thanked her and he told her, "Come into my office." He pulls out from his wallet a crisp $100 bill, which back then was a lot of money. He gives it to her and says, I am so grateful and thankful for what you have done for our family. And he continues to say, however, our tradition is not to celebrate Christmas. Nevertheless, I'm not angry at all. I'm thankful. And how would you have known? And here, take this money as a token of my gratitude. Many years later, in more modern history, the editor of the Detroit Press met a very famous rabbi who lives in Eretz Yisrael, Rabbi Beryl Wine, Goy. And he tells him this story and says, that was my mother. And he says, because of this story my mother told me, since I became the head editor of the Detroit Press, and until the end of my term, there will be no anti-Semitic news that enters the Detroit Press at all. So what do we learn from such a story? Chazaku Baruch. We learn that what we do is watched by others. What do you think? You walk into your house, you're a wealthy individual, you're an observant Jew even. How could you desecrate my house with such? 18-year-old girl, berate her, fire her, insult her. The sensitivity to another human being, regardless of their religion, and the sensitivity of going over and explaining and showing your gratitude, that's a true Kidush Hashem. That's sanctifying God's name. And what we have to understand is when we sanctify God's name, there are repercussions. Good ones. When we sanctify Hashem's name, there is good that comes from it. And what we have to learn is lo alenu, the opposite. When we do Hilul Hashem, when we desecrate Hashem's name, there are repercussions. It causes horrible things, things that we understand and things which are even above us and spiritual that we don't understand. And may the lesson from this story be that we should always act as if we are being watched, because the truth is we are being watched. And always think, what would I want others to say about the way and the things that I do? At least let that push us and drive us to do the right thing. We have to realize that Kidush Hashem is amongst us Jews and Goyim as well. And the more Kidush Hashem we do, the more awareness and the beauty of God and the Torah that we bring to this world, we are bringing B'ezrat Hashem the Mashiach closer and closer. Amen.